This is my John Deere utility tractors. It's a model 5055D. And it's been a really good tractor up here on the farm. We've got a carry-all on it right now, and a chainsaw and an axe, and we're getting ready to go and cut a little bit of firewood. And my son is going to be driving, and I'm going to sit back here and take a little video as we drive up to the woods and kind of point out a few things in some of the fields that we have. This field over here to my left, it's a really good hay field, and it's about 8 acres in there, and we got about 1,200 bales off of it on our first cutting this past year. And then we had a drought, and we got about 99 bales on a second cutting. But sometimes this field, I think that it's going to produce the most trashy hay there is, and some of the other fields will let me down, and this one comes through. I can't explain it. This is another field that's opposite of the one that I just showed you, and it's been a pretty good field. There's kind of two parts, and then there's a low spot that I've had in another video. This field's a good producer. Up here on top, it's not as good. I think it dries out the way it's terraced, and I think the ground loses its moisture. But in the middle section going out, it's a pretty good producer. We plant Claire Timothy over here, and in the other field we plant Climax, and they come in at different times, so we don't have to have all our hay on the ground at one time. So if it rains or something breaks, we don't have everything down and stand a chance that it might be ruined. So the farm is divided in half by a highway, and so I'm walking over here in advance of my son to unlock the gates. And this is the road we take to get up into the other part of the farm that I'm going to show you. All of this used to be in pasture when we had cattle. It's grown up, but we're taking it back a little bit at a time. Right here is an old bathtub that we made into a watering trough one time. This building right here in my grandfather's day was a sheep shed. Nothing now but a building that's about ready to fall down. All of this in here was just like a lawn. When I was a boy, the cattle would keep it all cut down. There was a time on this farm when we had other people coming in and making hay, and there really wasn't any animals on here, so it grew up. And there were some other reasons for this too, but anywhere we can safely get a tractor, we want to try to make hay on it. We can bush hog it and make it look nice, but you know, why not make some hay and make a little money to help offset the cost of owning the farm and paying the taxes. This field right here, I'll have a video if it's not up by the time this one goes up. This was some pretty trashy grass in here, and I wanted to clip it and bale the thatch off of it. And I'm telling you, there were autumn olive sprigs and multiflora rose. It was some not so good horse hay, but you know, people with goats kind of like hay that's grassy, but yet it's got some woody plants in it. They don't seem to mind that for their goats. So I put a cheap price on it, and it sells, and I make money, you know, to buy diesel and things like that. This all used to be just like your lawn, as far as you could see up through there to the woods at the top. And it grew up, and we had it clear cut a number of years ago, and the people that cut it, you can see some of those white posts in there. Those are the big stumps, but it's littered with little stumps. It's all pine and cedar, and we've replanted some pines. Kind of, if you can see in the distance, there's a green patch, and eventually this will all be a hay field, and I'll try to reclaim as much as I can, where I can get a tractor on it even for next spring. It's kind of hard to see, and of course there's a lot of autumn olive up here, but anyway, you might see some pine trees up in there, in amongst the autumn olives. When we clear cut this, we planted loblolly pines where we felt we couldn't get a tractor, and we made a little buffer right in here that we hope to try to maintain through these areas. One of the projects I have all around the farm is to take some of these limbs down so we can get my big Massey Ferguson in here. And at some point when we, on back in here, when we start baling some hay, and we'll make some hay fields, I'll show you that here in just a little bit. We got to do something with this road to make it a little more friendly to hay equipment and kicker wagons. This is some remnants of the last of the newest woven wire fence, and I don't know how old it was. It was probably in the 70s when it was put in, and my dad and an uncle of mine put it in with some help with myself and my brother, and we had a Schaefer post driver we used to drive these posts, locust posts, and we skinned the post out with the heel of an axe. But we don't have cattle, and we don't really have a need to maintain fence anymore. This is a rock pile that my great-grandfather, he plowed some of these fields with a horse and a bottom plow. This area right through here, there's a patch of woods up in here that's surrounded by fields, and but this little area right in here is, while everything looks dead here in the middle of the winter, it's really a nice looking view, and I think it's very picturesque. You can see the green stuff on the ground is running cedar, and again, when I was a boy, it seemed like there was always a grouse on this road somewhere. You'd come along and a grouse would flush up. There's always dead trees. We never cut a green tree standing. I'll cut a dead tree standing, but if it's easy to get to, we'll just cut the trees while they're laying on the ground. And with the John Deere tractor and this carryall, it makes it nice to be able to get up right up to the tree and cut it and then load it. And we don't have to kill ourselves and cut, you know, big giant piles of wood at one time. We'll chip away at it, but we generally cut and burn 7 cords of wood a year. One thing, if you look, and there's a place right here, that's a chestnut split rail fence and what's left of it there, and all up and down through here, this one section of fence beyond that woven wire that I just talked about, it was all split rail fence, and it was functional. And again, when I was a boy, we would have the cattle up here in the summer and across the road in the winter, and you know, we maintained this split rail fence, and it was you know, chest high. So we're coming into another field. You can see, again, this is clear cut, but it used to be pasture. And as the stumps rot, we'll begin to take it back, and I hope to be able to make hay on all of this in here. And if we have to, we'll do something to remove the stumps. There's only so much time in the day and only so many days in the year, and you know, I have a full-time day job, and so I do what I can, but this will make a really nice hay field. And then there's more on top, and we actually make some hay up there. I've got some videos where all you can see when I'm mowing is just mountains all around, and that's from up on the top. There's some more split rail fence over there. You can see the remnants of it. And up there's another rock pile. If you look, I'm getting my finger to work. Another rock pile. And we're actually going to drive by. We've got some wood up here to the side. There's a hidden field back over there. We'll make hay on. I think it's ideally suited for Timothy. It's kind of out of the direct sunlight. And of course we have no trespassing signs everywhere. You'd be amazed how many people come walking in here to hunt. So I'm off the tractor now while my son forges ahead. And there's firewood over here we've cut, and more of it up there. And we'll haul it down and put it in our old barn so it'll stay dry. There's a pile of wood over there that's stacked and ready to haul. There's another picture of the rock pile. We have to be very careful up here with the tractors on the hills. Like I said, you know, we'll make hay anywhere we can safely put a tractor, but you know, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm ready to die, but not over a bale of hay or flipping the tractor over. There's another rock pile. I can't imagine what it was like trying to plow these fields with a horse and a single bottom plow. We find occasionally a broken plow point up here, and they have Oliver on it. So I'm assuming that my great-grandfather used an Oliver horse-drawn plow. And there's actually a plow in the barn, but it's in a spot we're a little afraid to go in there. The old barn's about ready to fall down. All of these trees have fallen, and we'll cut them all for firewood. More trees that have fallen that we're working on, and there's some dead. You can see the bark falling off that tree. My battery's getting low. I'm not sure how much video I'll take for this one, but I'll come up here again. This is the running cedar. It used to make for a nice Christmas decoration. Snake our way out of the woods. I'm gonna take video until my phone goes dead. Got a nice load of wood on the back of this tractor. It's all oak. It's generally what we cut. We've got to pick up this chainsaw. occasionally I'll cut a standing dead tree, especially if we're running low on seasoned wood. It seems to be dry if they're standing. Gotta kind of watch out for the stumps in our road that we're snaking through here. More dead wood over there, and we can back the tractor right up to it. Really no limit to how much firewood we can cut if we choose to do so. And I talked about the ash borer in one of my earlier video clips, but there's something going after the oak tree as well. And we cut as much as we can. Sometimes myself and my two boys will come up here and we'll cut. And we'll just cut and cut and cut until we run out of gas, or there's rocks everywhere. And sometimes you get the chain in a rock, but we'll come back another day and haul it out. More firewood. There's a big dead tree right there. I'm not sure I'm gonna cut that. Firewood over there we've got cut. It looks like a turkey track made by a chainsaw. More firewood down there stacked up, ready to be hauled out. Snake this road in here and knocked out a few little really pine trees that were in the way. This tractor got 736 hours on it. Knock on wood, this has been a really good tractor for us. It's got high, low, and 4 speeds. It's not most John Deere tractors of this size have the 3 ranges, and I think they have 3 speeds to go with it. 9 forward gears and 3 reverse gears. Something like that. I'm not real sure. If you cut a tree, the diameter that you see right there, it kind of minimizes the splitting. And every year we have ice, snow, and it just brings down another big load of firewood. It just replenishes itself. The sun's kind of bright here, but this is the field I was talking about. It's somewhat shaded, the hottest of the sun. We've got to work on that. I think that'll make a really nice Timothy hayfield. There's another rock pile right over there. My great-grandfather really worked hard, and I'm sure his kids did too, one of which was my grandfather. My kids are 5th generation on this farm. This is another view of the field that we first came into when we broke out of these woods over here. But that'll be a hay field. Water kind of collects down in here a little bit at the ground, so stumps over there. These things will do a number on disc mower conditioner or my hay vine. There's some over there. So they're pine and they're rotting away. Sometimes when the bush hog in here will hit them with the blade and they'll kind of fly apart. You know, at some point I'll come in here when I'm ready to do this field. I'll come in here and we'll either get a backhoe. We'll figure out one way or the other to get these stumps out. But I think this will be a fine hay field too. We just got to be careful about, you know, getting up on the hill, the highest part. You know, we won't go all the way to the top, but my grandfather farmed cattle. He didn't have, you know, row crops, corn or wheat or anything like that. My great-grandfather did, and that's where all these rock piles came from. He plowed back in here, and I've been told, I think I've been told that he would grow wheat up in here. And there's actually a place way back in the woods, a clearing, and supposedly he grew popcorn back in there, and he did so. Everything was open pollinated. I guess it kept from crossing with his corn if he had it far enough away. Another stump over there. But I'm the first one to raise a crop on this farm, you know, for sale. We had hay before, but it was for internal consumption with the cattle. But we sell all the hay now. Pretty good that I'm the first one to actually make a crop for sale on this farm, and it's interesting. I've got a John Deere tractor, and even though my great-grandfather used, I'm pretty sure, an Oliver plow, he could have bought a John Deere, and it's kind of neat that, you know, I bought a tractor from the same company that he could have bought a plow from, and maybe did. Turkeys up in here. When I was a boy, there used to be a lot of quail, but we don't see quail anymore, and occasionally we see a grouse. This is multi-floor rows over in here. We try to keep stuff like that cleaned up with a bush hog. There's just so much of it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to put your hands on everything up here. When I hit a rock, the front wheels would come off the ground a little bit. Since we put weights on this tractor, it hadn't been an issue, but, you know, we're mindful of it. The back of the carryall is very close to the ground, so for whatever reason the tractor wanted to tip up, it wouldn't go very far. Up there that will make decent hay. All of this in here at some point will become a hay field. I'd like to make hay from right here all the way up to the top of the woods, where it's kind of level. There's a wide swath across the crown of that hill up there, and there's a flat spot on top of that hill that we'll make hay on. This is kind of the last leg. This is the first field we're talking about taking back from the briars and thistles, and going down the lane down the hill. That'll kind of conclude this video. like it, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, you subscribe. The lower right hand corner of the screen, there's a little tiny hay bell. If you click on that, that'll let you subscribe. And again, we have a Instagram page where we post some photos, and sometimes we'll post when we put a video on YouTube.